And very big welcome. Hi, everybody, to Flow Friday, where each Friday we'll join live, or you can watch the replay on YouTube as we look at how to further progress your new role as a flow engineer in an organization, whether that is your full-time role or whether it's something that you're going to be doing as a side gig. And would you believe it or not, I've just been kicked out of Zoom on my laptop. So it'll be 2 seconds while I get that reconnected. Fortunately, we're actually connected on a second session at the same time. Hey, in today's session, we're going to start the first in a multiple module journey on creating Jarvis for each team member at work. Imagine that. Imagine that each team, remember Jarvis from the Marvel comics in Iron Man, and Iron Man in his suit gets to speak to his own AI. Well, that really is the future of where we're going. We're going to start with a foundational piece today, because I'd like to help set the understanding that every team member in every role in the near future is going to be able to have their own personal AI to help them, support them in the type of work that they do. There's actually some recent and very interesting statistics coming out from McKinsey and Co. that shares that we waste about 19% of the week searching for information and asking others questions based on the data that's inside of our own organizations. 19% of the week, that's a whole day essentially is wasted on just searching for information. If you have that experience, pop a 1 in the chat. If you've seen that happen before, or you have that own experience yourself, pop a 1 in the chat. Love to see your insights there. Yep. Okay, Rebecca's got that. Thank you, Rebecca. Yeah.
Hello.
Fantastic. It really is hello, welcome.
I'm just
really
started
is
this
a
thing that I wanted to watch at 11.
Oh, so you're out of it or into it?
I mean, it's just started, but
Can
I've just
get our team
myself,
to just pop anyone who's on mute?
I can't believe this.
Fantastic. Okay. Yeah, it's pretty standard, right, for all of us in organizations to have this challenge where we're going to end up searching for information on a regular basis, wondering how to find it. And so the idea as a start, let's have a look at this one. And so that's where we're going to start today. Today we're going to start with selecting a particular role. Then we're going to create an AI agent, and we're going to ground that AI agent with data for that role. I'll show you a couple of ways that you can do that. Then in a future session, I'm going to show you how we're going to bring that to the desktop of your computer. And then in a future model, we'll be getting closer to actually including voice. So the future state of this is where you'll just talk naturally to the AI. But the first part here today is just getting it to the chat functionality. So to do this, these are workshop sessions, and the best way to follow along with these at home or in the office is to have 2 screens. So one screen, if you can put my up there as your secondary screen, and so you can watch what's happening on Zoom, and on your primary screen, open up Raya Pro, log in and follow along. Now, if you don't yet have a Raya account, please head on over to register for one of those, or if you have not set up your OpenAI API keys yet to be able to get the AI portion of it working just yet, please just let our team know, and in a separate session, they'll be able to help you out if you get a little bit stuck with that one. We will also have in the upcoming weeks the ability to not need an OpenAI account, and you'll be able to purchase credits through us as well for the AI inference, which is the processing of the AI. Well, let's go and now move over to Raya Pro, and what I've started doing here today, one moment, is we're going to start with the concept of someone in Accounts Receivable as a team member, and we'll make them imagine that you've got a new person starting in Accounts Receivable, and we're going to create an AI agent for that and ground the AI agent in the types of standard operating procedures that you would see for an accounts receivable person, and we'll make it a fictitious company so that you've got the idea to play with, and then you can go and create it as your own going forward. So here we go. Share my screen. Okay, so let's go and see what we'll cover here. And we'll get familiar again with the interface and take ourselves right to the beginning here at in Raya, where we've got chat, our agents, workflow, tool sets, and info base. So we're going to look at agents, and then we'll look at where we're going to ground the data with the agent itself. So let's imagine as a starting point, we're going to create, or not imagine, but let's follow along and create a accounts receivable agent. So let's get this out of the way. So once you've gone to agents and create new agent, we're going to type in accounts receivable. And with accounts receivable in place, select the categories and click on finance. Now, soon we're going to have custom categories for you there as well. Now, from here, all you need to do is click on goal statement and have the AI write the goal statement for you. Now, following along, you can just pop a 2 in the chat when you've achieved that one, when you've clicked on, when you've created your agent and completed the goal statement. Pop a 2 in the chat. If following on from a video later on, you can pause or speed up and play it as often as you like. You're already making it through to that spot. Well done. The next step after that is to create the backstory. Now, you can check that one. As always, you can make changes to that one, but generally the way that we've pre-prompted to be able to generate these AI agents is really thorough. So click on backstory, generate your backstory. This is defining the agent's performance and their historical background. It shows how to execute the task. So it's going to give those insights. Okay. Got over 5 years experience, maybe you want 10 years experience. Okay, you can change those around. And then next step is to create base instructions. Now, why are we creating a personal AI agent? Well, the idea here is that a team member in their role is often going to ask questions on how to do things specifically. Now, the more detailed or thorough a business is in writing its standard operating procedures, the easier it will be for a team member to actually do their role. However, in my experience, and I don't know if you're the same, you can have all the documentation in the world, doesn't mean that people will read it and follow it. And so the future of this is where it's such a natural behavior for people to ask someone else a question on how to do something. And that knowledge is in the organization, but it's costs you twice as much. Every time someone stops to ask another person a question, 2 people are now helping to solve that problem. So you're sort of doubling up the labor at that point. But what if we start to build this new behavior where it makes more sense and faster for the team member to ask their own personal AI in their own role how to do something, and they can get that answer out to them straight away. And you get the benefit of knowing that it's going to be a consistent answer that comes out each time when it's grounded on the data from your organization. So here are some base instructions, examples. We've got invoicing and payment processing and customer communications, collections, reconciliations, reporting, credit management, compliance, and then how to respond to different types of tasks. It's got routine tasks, urgent tasks, error resolution, complex tasks, and strategic tasks. Now, these are all base underlying instructions for the AI agent to understand how it should be behaving. From here, we'll need to select a tone of voice. Now, to me, professional makes sense, but you get to choose one that suits you. And then after that, from a DISC personality profiling, if I was recruiting for this position as a human role, then I would look to see how I can match personality profile for a job fit match. It's not a definitive approach. It shouldn't say that you wouldn't take someone in that role, but definitely helps to guide what energizes people in that space. Now, in this one here, once we get into anything in the more accounting role, it could be more around this compliance area. If accounts receivable is going to be on the phone, then you may also consider, a little bit in this influential phase too, because they're needing to persuade people to pay their bills essentially. All right, so once that one's done, now pop a 3 in the chat if you're up to that spot now. Pop a 3 in the chat if you're following along. Same spot. Okay. Marguerite's a little bit lost. Marguerite, I think we were chatting on Facebook this morning, and I think we've still got your setup for your API needs to be done. That might be holding you back a little bit there. Tamika D&D. All right. So APIs will be immediate once they've been set up correctly, successfully. So I'll also put a shout out there. If we've got Jay from our team on the session, to do a breakout room for anyone that might need some OpenAI assistance as well. Matthew's saying, generate, not working. Do I use model 4.0? Yeah, look, I recommend 4.0 in general. You're going to get a lot more detailed results, and it's half the price of 4. So it makes sense to move to 4.0. Now, 3.5, although cheaper, won't give you as detailed results. And so it's up to you. One practice that I see people out there doing is they might do their testing on 3.5, get to a good result, and then move to 4. In reality, the cost of 4 is so low now. It's just costing such a low amount. So I would recommend moving to 4.0. And Regs is saying, for newly created accounts, please use GPT 3.5 Turbo. If you plan to use 4.0, you have to make a minimum $5 added to your OpenAI account. So there you go. So if you just want to do a little bit of a test, then you can use 3.5. And when it's time to start going all in on AI, which is the reality of where we're going, is that put some money on your account for 4.0. When we start to look at the time savings versus what we would pay in a salary, we can see where AI is going to end up running all day, all the time in all our organizations. Fast forward 6 months from now, and you'll see that usage will increase in organizations everywhere. And in addition to that, what we're also seeing is that organizations are starting to put AI usage in their software as a service line, or creating a new line in their P&Ls to be ready for budgeting. Okay, with that one in place, we'll now click on, you can add an icon for this one too. So, or you can upload your own image. I'm going to add a person here. Fantastic. And with that in place, we're going to create the agent. Now, this agent needs to be grounded with some information. And we've got a couple of choices with grounding an agent. One option, once you've created the agent, is to go to the knowledge base here. And one option is to connect it to SourceWiki, which is our online wiki. OneBrain, for those Business Blueprint, have also got a wiki connected. Or you can also use OneDrive. And soon we'll add Google as well. So Google Drive will be coming shortly also. For today, what I've got for you is I've pre-created some details into a document, Accounts Receivable SOPs, Accounts Receivables Agent Standard Operating Procedures. And you can use that to ground your data by simply downloading that document and in a moment upload it. So grab that link that's just been sent through to you. I can see some people are already joining in. Fantastic. And what you can do here is you could export that document or print it to a PDF. Might just print it to a PDF to be nice and simple. And I'll save the PDF. Just direct to my downloads. All that AI agent, SO. Don't want me to change the change that text for some reason. So we'll just download that one. Okay. Now what I've done here is just put some base information together for you. You can, this is as always just a practice run. Okay. I look at this as the Karate Kid approach. Mr. Miyagi is the sensei and Daniel-san is the student, and he does the wax on, wax off consistently in order to build up the muscle memory. That's what we're going to do here. Just basically follow through, have a practice, and then later on you can start creating your own. I want to give you some confidence by following along. Got some more people joining this document. So just print that document out or download it as a Word document. Either will be completely fine. And what I did here, just for insight, to create some dummy data, I actually went to Raya, just the normal chat, and what I did was I said, please create, just chatting with the normal Raya agent here, please create a list of SOPs for a fictional accounting firm, Andy's Accounting Results, or R for short, a little bit pirate style today, for a person in the role of accounts receivable. And what the AI did was it gave a list of different areas that would need to be focused on for someone in accounts receivable. And then once I got that data, I asked it to expand further. I said, please expand in detail on the number 2, client credit assessment. And then it's expanded further on that information. And like any of those points, you can be asking the AI to expand further and further and further to give you more detail. Now, what I've done for you is just taken that information and grounded it and put it into the Word document. And so today, for a very simple approach, you could use that for grounding your agent with this specific information. Once it's in there, what will happen, once it's added to the knowledge base, either by uploading it as a document, or if you want to add it into your Source Wiki or OneBrain or OneDrive over on if you're using Microsoft, then this information is going to be converted into a vector database. So it's going to be, the system in the background here is going to take that information, put it into something called a vector database, and that will change the words into numbers. And then the machine is going to it's going to be easy for the machine to read those numbers. Then when we ask a question to that particular agent, we'll be able to get precise information to come back out of the system. So for this one, we'll now go forward. We'll get our accounts receivable agent. I'll just navigate back to the agent now. I can go to and use my categories here, go to finance, find my accounts receivable agent. I can update the agent and scroll down to the area that says knowledge base. And so options are to upload from this PC. For today, I'll show you that one. So upload from the PC. Here's the document from earlier. I can open it and it will now place the PDF here, and it'll upload and now submit it into the vector database to be converted into the numbers so that the AI can communicate with it. Now, also in addition, it doesn't need to be one document. It might be multiple documents here, or in a similar fashion, we could go into adding from a source as well. Naomi is asking, hey team, I put my grounding in OneBrain for another agent, but doesn't seem to reference. Is there a reason? I think I've not connected the chat API to OneBrain. Is that necessary, or is there a lag? Chat API. Oh, if your open API AI is not connected to OneBrain, that won't matter so long as your data's in there. But certainly, Naomi, we'd love to give you a bit of a hand to troubleshoot on that one. Sure. So in this instance here, I've uploaded it now. And Naomi, I'll make sure I come back to you in this session once I complete the main component as well. Oh, you can't find the knowledge base? No worries, Angie. The reason for that one is that the first step we'll need to do is actually publish the agent. Once it's been published, then you're going to see a couple more features appear on the page. One of those features is the knowledge base itself will appear. Then you'll be able to add it. The reason why we don't have it before is we need to create that agent so we can then hook the knowledge into it. The other area that you'll see appear are tool sets, the ability to add the tool sets, and also the embed feature, which is when you want to take this agent and actually put it onto a website so that people can interact with it publicly. That's the other route. See. Oh, you're welcome, Angie. Thank you. Can we connect our website to the knowledge base? Soon. We'll be introducing a new tool set soon, which is for scraping websites. And once that one has been released, then yes, you'll be able to connect your website to the knowledge base. It's going to save a lot of time. That way, as you update your website with the latest information, your agent will be able to continue to build its knowledge as a result. Okay, we've embedded the agent on a web page test. It doesn't work very well on an iPhone. It's too small. Great feedback. We'll have a look at that one. On the and so well done, Ryan, for making that progressive step so fast. On the iPad, it's working, but the chat box is very thin. Okay, we'll look at the we'll look at the rendering of that so it comes out to be useful. The bot needs an intro. Hello, my name is Raya. Can you ask me questions? How can I assist you today? Currently, will only show after someone engages with the bot. Yeah, that's the case at the moment. We'll have lots of new features coming through for that bot coming up soon. We'll also see in our AI agents the ability to suggest those prompted questions to get started on. So lots coming in that zone, and great idea, great share. Thank you for that, Ryan, and congratulations on making such great progress already. And we've now got a room opened up so that we can give some additional direct support as well. So if you'd like to go off to one of the rooms for any direct support on things like connecting your API keys, just pop that in the chat and our team will send you over there. Would you suggest using any tools for this agent? Not just yet. That they're going to come in upcoming sessions. Today, we're going to just look at the grounding, and I'll give you a bit of a sneak peek of where these agents can live internally in your organization as well. And all recordings are available over on our YouTube channel, which is at AIpoweredpeople. So if you go over to youtube.com/at AIpoweredpeople, and if I can get Nice or one of the team to put that link in the session as well. Okay, let's have a look now. Let's continue on. I'll come back and answer some more questions in just a sec. So we've now got our AI agent set up. I'm going to publish our agent now. Anytime you make changes to your agents, you can then add release notes as well. So you can start to track anything that has been different from the previous session and start doing that one. So I don't need any release notes for this one, so I'm going to publish it. I'm keeping this private for now. And the reason for that, as the discipline as a flow engineer, is to actually test the agent before you actually publish it out to your organization. You'll also notice that for those that have been here for a bit, we've changed the word public to marketplace. That feature will be coming soon. The intention of when we release marketplace is that there'll be some early adopters that will be allowed to publish their agents publicly and workflows for others to access and to also make money on. And that there is a whole program coming behind that one. So we've just got that one clarified as marketplace instead of public from. Okay, let's head on over to chat now, and we're going to have a chat with the agent that we've created. So our accounts receivable agent that we've just created. And what I'm imagining now is that I'm a new team member at the organization in the role of accounts receivable. And it's important for me to be able to have someone to talk to on a regular basis and ask questions from on how to do things. Now, as I mentioned earlier, 19% of the week is spent on doing that one activity. That's a whole day. What if new team members had an agent for their role that they could ask questions to and get accurate answers before then escalating further to a senior leader? What impact would that have on people's time, their confidence? And it's quite interesting, even just on the confidence level, that it's in human nature. We can ask questions, but sometimes feel a bit embarrassed that we don't know what the answer would be. And if that occurs for an individual, it will hold them back from progressing at pace. Now, a recent conversation I was having with another software development team who had recently built out an AI agent chatbot for debt collection. They ran the AI agent chatbot for debt collection versus the humans for debt collection. And what they found was that results from the AI agents were much higher because people were willing to share their actual personal financial situation with the AI agent, but they weren't willing to share it with the human. So there's some really interesting psychology happening already here about, and you can infer here that when speaking with another human, people can feel judgment, but within the AI, the judgment's not there, or there's not concern from an ego perspective. So it's likely that we're going to see areas where the AI is going to have a deeper interaction than what might be possible with humans because there's no concern of judgment, which is quite an interesting component. So, okay, we're going to change this over now from being Raya to our accounts receivable. And I might just ask the question, for example, well, let's have a look at our data that we have. So we've grounded this one with this information, and I've asked the AI earlier to go a little bit deeper on some of the items, and might say, I said, please go deeper on credit assessment. So I could simply say to Raya this, I need to create a credit assessment for a new company by the name of ABC Cars Proprietary Limited. What do I need to do to complete this effectively? And I'm going to pop that in our chat so you don't need to type it in. I'll drop that for you there so you can use the same prompt. And then I'll simply press enter, click on icon. And what's happening now is it's talking directly with that particular agent and the information that it's grounded in. And what we'll see is that it's brought in consistency from the actual standard operating procedure. So it's gone in there. Let's bring it side by side so we can have a little look at it. Okay, so we've got collect the information and obtain essential information from the client, such as, so in this case, obtain essential information from ABC Cars Proprietary Limited, such as legal business name, business registration, address and contact details, so forth, names and key. So we've got consistency all the way through. And that's the key part here that we're looking for from the AI is consistency. Imagine if we turn to a leader and we say, what do I need to collect? Chances are an experienced person would be able to rattle off quite a few details of what needs to be done. Or all going well, they might point you to a reference of where an SOP is to do that activity. But one thing's for sure as human beings, to be able to be consistent with the same information in the same order, that's going to become quite challenging. So now we're going to be able to get this accurately every single time. And now what I'd love to see, and Matthew's just asking to get into the breakout room, so if someone can assist him. what I'm curious at, what are some of the roles in your organizations where you have people that are coming back and asking similar questions on a regular basis? Drop a couple of role name examples in the chat. Love to see what you're thinking about right now. What are some examples of some roles? Chris has got tax queries. Great. What are other roles that occur in your organization where you've got a team member or team members that come back and they're asking questions on a regular basis? Okay, sales team members for creating a quote. Fantastic example now. Andrew's got, hey, Andrew, nice to see you here. Cyber breach. Yeah, great one. Right? That's an area that we often doesn't happen very often. And so, well, hopefully it doesn't happen at all, but it's certainly not going to happen very often. And so that's an area where in the moment, what do I do? Where do I find the SOP? What are the steps? So that'd be a great one there. Yeah, I wish. Tamika's got setting up a new client or a new project. Fantastic. Okay, just that reminder of how to do it. What are the steps involved? Spreadsheet analysis and report writing would be great. Yeah, Richard, that one is probably going to go into a multi-step process. Now, this week, wow, it's moving so fast. On Tuesday, I did a bit of an open session. I'll do another one of those. I think it might be, we'll set some dates for it and let everyone know. I'll do an open session where if someone wants me to work on their particular workflow or agent, do an open session where you can nominate and work on it. I do state, though, that they are public sessions, so you need to make sure any data that you bring needs to be shareable. Social media coordinator, right? So it's a big detailed one. So you get all those SOPs in place and now you can start to interrogate it. What to do when a website crashes? That's a great example. Yeah. Reception desk, how do you, so thank you for that one. Hillary D's got reception desk and how to use our CRM. Fantastic. Kieran's got, I've created agents around the skill sets my team don't have. I created an SMS marketer and added it to workflows. Fantastic. And we'll also be bringing SMS to the platform along with email. So that's going to be an interesting one coming up where you could include that in your workflows. Ryan's got, is there a plan to have an API into our inventory system to accessing pricing for sales teams and quoting? And absolutely. Let me know, Ryan, what your inventory system is. Is it off the shelf or is it custom? And if it's got an existing API, then we can have a look at that. Andrew's got, there are very specific processes that must be followed in cyber breach issues depending on what it is. Absolutely. And so if you've got your full set of standard operating procedures and what the scenarios are, then that would be in there. What we have got being worked on in the next sprint, so we work on a 2-week sprint cycle, and Regs and the team are working on, when you talk to an agent, it'll come up with a range of predetermined questions to prompt you for what to do. So that would be a good one, Andrew, for perhaps presenting the different types of scenarios that might be hit to help direct people, send people in the right direction. And then in a future sprint, we'll be bringing in prompt templates, but it's another one for the future. Tamika saying, yes, open session, please, but need some notice. Yeah, I'm going to actually put those into a calendar so we can get a bit of a schedule for it. Naomi's got, Matt, can you talk to how this differs and relates to SOPs in OneBrain? Absolutely. I love this one. So when you have a standard operating procedure, you can put it in a system somewhere. So that's going to be in tools like, for those at Business Blueprint, the wiki that's known as OneBrain, or Source Wiki, which is, so OneBrain is built in conjunction with Business Blueprint. Source Wiki is the underpinning tool for that. They're the same product. But you might even have SOPs in something like just Microsoft Word, Microsoft Office, or some other system. This is probably a question for the crowd as well. I can share my experience. I'd love to hear yours as well. We can have standard operating procedures, but one of the challenges is that people need to go back and refer to them and then actually follow them. It's sometimes a bit of a tricky one. Anyone found that before? You can have great documentation, but the team members are not reading it, or even if they read it, they're not following through and using it. Pop a one in the chat if you've had that situation before. And yeah, thanks, Chris. And yeah, some others as well. Yes, no one reads the procedure. Okay, thanks, Nassim. You and I are probably on a similar level here. Or when we do really solid onboarding, we might do the reading. I think there's a feature, if it's not live yet in OneBrain and SourceWiki, you'll see it shortly, where people can confirm that they've read the procedure. Now, that's one thing still that a person says, confirms I read it. The next thing is that did it get absorbed in a deep enough way that it will then be useful. Now, this is where I believe that the agents come in for an individual team member in their role. Today, a team member will be able to chat or do what I did, press the microphone button, speak to the AI agent, and an answer will come out. In the very near future, this is going to take a whole nother leap in that you'll be able to get access to, you have a look on the left-hand side of my screen here, there's what's called the heads-up display. And in our heads-up display from MultiPlai.tech, or the Business Blueprint version for our Business Blueprint friends on the line here, you'll get one of these as well. And in here, you'll be able to dock an agent that is, or multiple agents that are specific for a person's role. And it will be on here where in one click, the team members will simply be able to verbally talk to their agent and get the answers out, just like they were going to talk to a leader and ask a question. We're going to make this so natural in conversation that people will sort of move away from search, if you will, to conversation, in just like what we do in the natural environment. We don't search, we ask someone a question, that is search, and then we get an answer out and then we act on it. But if the person we're asking the question to hasn't read the standard operating procedures or are not doing it consistently, because they're human, then the information that gets passed down turns into Chinese whispers, and before you know it, we're off just doing anything or basically working on heuristics. So the main differentiator here is that we'll be moving from a standard operating procedure, or I should say augmenting a standard operating procedure tool set, augmenting that with AI to be able to have the natural conversations on a daily basis to be able to actually deliver the results. Now we've got... Hope that answered it for you, Naomi. Hope that was useful for others as well. Richard's got, I created a workflow for the spreadsheet analysis and it worked well on stuff I've already done. We'll test it soon on the next lot of accounts. Brilliant, Richard. That's awesome. And Dave's got, yeah, project and cost estimation. I really see this one as quite a huge one, right? There's lots of data on projects and doing those cost estimations, being able to connect into a repository. You might keep that in something like Excel. That one will be quite interesting, quite detailed, and maybe some extra tools that are required to pull that off effectively. David's got, I created an AI content humanizer. Nice. Oh, Ryan said Zoho. So you're connecting into Zoho. Fantastic. That was for your inventory system is Zoho. Well, that's super because Zoho's got quite a mature API. If I can get one of the team to grab Ryan's details and we can have a little look at that offline. And Tamika said, I'm trying to build a proposal writer. Would this be better as a workflow or a single agent? And this is where you get into prompt engineering now on pulling the data is one thing, but also what are the sections that might be in that proposal? In that proposal, does it need to do any additional research from the internet? If it does, then definitely a workflow. Or if it might need to do a written piece and then a piece around numbers, and you might have multiple documents to bring in there. That would be good for a workflow. But also, if you've got a proposal writer workflow, and then you've got the recent information that you need to to have for that specific client, for the specific background information that you've gathered on questions for them, then you'd be able to just drop that into the chat. So if it's the custom information just for that particular proposal, then you'd want to pop that into the chat, but keep the agent grounded, perhaps with your standard information about your approach. So that would be one there. That would be a fun one for us to do, actually, Tamika, proposal writer. We'll note that one down. Do you have an ETA on social media connections for automating posts and management? Great question, D. Creating reports from case notes for NDIS. Okay, so I don't have the one on this session, but because I can say that it's not in this current sprint. However, it's such a important one, I think, for many, because we want to see you drive leads and get them out there. So I'm going to make sure that one gets bumped up the list. Andrew said, excellent, a flow manager style of breach management. Tin Scott, can an agent be grounded based on a directory or source rather than individual documents? Yes, so we can do multiple files now. And a full directory, we still need to do some testing on about how deep we can go without it running into any issues there. But multiple files that you select through OneBrain or Microsoft OneDrive is possible for you now. No one reads procedures. Okay, Nami's got, my team do read them, but super integrated into Asana. So Asana will be a good one for us to connect into shortly as well. Asana and ClickUp will definitely be on the high list as well, along with things like HubSpot and Salesforce and Go High Level and so forth. Do agents retain all previous information through its history to revert to? At the moment, in this particular chat sequence that's going on, I'll need to check. Regs might be able to jump in and answer that. I don't believe at the moment we're putting all that back into RAG, Retrieval Augmented Generation. However, that will be something that will be coming soon. David's got second vote for Zoho. Fantastic. And what we'll see soon also, we'll be releasing a section inside Raya where you can go and put feature requests in and vote on features, so we can help prioritize those that are the most important. And then Dave's got a great question here, which is, how do I keep the source information for the AI agent up to date? So if you're uploading a PDF or a file, you would need to continue to upload that. But when we connect this to an external system, so I'll now go back to this agent. Give an example. Let's open this one back up. Just going to finish off this SourceWiki doc that I was doing prior to the session. So we've got it to refer to. So in our agents themselves, if you want to keep your source information updated, then my recommendation is to use an external tool. So there's three to choose from right now: SourceWiki, OneBrain, or Microsoft OneDrive. Soon Google Drive will be there. I'll use the example with SourceWiki. What it's doing is it's connecting over to my SourceWiki folders, and I'm going to go to the one which I set up for this, which is called test. Just get rid of that one. Oh, I've got a few called test. That's interesting. Let's see what's in here. It's not that one. I'm going to need to not call things test anymore, aren't I? With test space. Let's double check. Test space. And AI agents accounts receivable. So from here, upload. So I've got SourceWiki. If you've got OneBrain, it'll be the same. AI agents accounts receivable, and I'm going to select accounts receivable. Now at the moment we can't select a whole folder, but you can select multiple documents within that folder. And when I upload that, it's going to upload it. Now, refresh rate, I'm going to ask Regs about what's our refresh rate for those documents. And we will be setting in a refresh rate for those. Also for tools like OneBrain and SourceWiki, we'll set a refresh rate for any of those items so that if there is a change to the page, we'll be able to refresh those into the vector database. Chris has got another thumbs up, I guess, for the proposal writer. Fantastic. Now imagine, I think proposal writer sounds like a good one for our next session on Friday next week now, 2 votes. Any plan to work on something like make.com? Yeah, you got it. Exactly right. So that sure is. Now, I wouldn't say that we will replace Make or Zapier in the short term. However, we will end up connecting to Make and Zapier soon so that you can utilize their additional automation flows, but that's definitely coming from us. We have a lot of stuff in Airtable. So Airtable is another one. Rosemary's saying, quote, proposal, signed, invoice. Yeah, that's a great flow. Fantastic. Another vote for ClickUp. Can you share what all CRMs will you connect to in the future? You mentioned Asana, Zoho. Yeah, so Asana for task management, Zoho for, well, Zoho's got quite a few different versions to it, right? CRM, customer support. I'm hearing inventory management there. It's got recruitment as well. We're bringing on a team of people to be working on the integrations so we can make that a lot simpler for you. ETA on Google Drive. So if one of our team could let me know there, if we've got an ETA on that one. We've got a request for teamwork. Matthew's got, I do a set of workshops with clients, usually 5 to 6, 1.5-hour conversations. These are recorded. Then I share these recordings with my team to create a 12-month marketing roadmap. Oh, I love this where you're going. I have many examples of those roadmaps. Do you think I could feed the recordings and example roadmaps, get a bespoke client-specific roadmap out? So let's chunk this down into its pieces. So this is a really great example. I think this is a very important future example for all of us to consider, that there'll be some form of meeting that's recorded and there's really powerful information in there that you wish another team member was in at that session so that they could learn it. Now, to get people to go and listen to all those recordings, the chances of getting them to do that gets lower and lower and lower as our days get busier. So where we go here is take the recording, transcribe it. Soon you'll have that feature. You'll be able to drop a file like of that size into Raya and do the transcription. At the moment, what I do is I actually just upload it to Loom. Loom does the transcription. I copy that transcription and then I load it into SourceWiki or OneBrain. Now I've got a position, I've got that information that I can ground the agent to. So there's step one. Take the recording, get it into SourceWiki or OneBrain or Microsoft OneDrive. And then the next one is to look at this concept of your 12-month marketing roadmap. So is that something, if that's something that can be displayed as text at the moment, so in like a Word document, versus in a Google sheet or a spreadsheet, because outputting to spreadsheets is going to take a fair bit more prompting to then copy and paste. But just as a simple one, you could do it in like a Word document. And you could create the roadmap generation agent. And then in the workflow, you could give the specific tasks to the agent to actually generate the roadmap for a client based on data for that client that you would also drop into the chat itself. So that's a pretty cool and exciting one. Yet not knowing what your roadmaps look like as the output is probably key there. Chris is asking, is SourceWiki included in our Multiply Raya account? No, that's a secondary tool, just like if we were connecting to Microsoft Office and OneDrive. So there's a secondary tool there. If you'd like some assistance on accessing it, I'd love to help you out. Carl's got award submission writer. Oh, what a great one for award submission. If you've ever gone to submit an award and they've got lots of questions, you've got to sit down and try and write it technically. It can often feel a bit overwhelming. Another way to do it is to just have someone interview you so you can give out all that information, get it into a transcript, and then get your award submission writer to write that for you. It seems asking for the breakout room. People are helping. Yeah, Zoho WorkDrive. I actually don't know that one, so I have to look at Zoho. Let's see if we can get that one in, Ryan. I love that you're all helping each other out in this chat. It's such a good insight for the community. Thank you. Dee's got a great example would be an organic social media agent and workflows. Yes, absolutely. I think then being able to do those posts for everyone, being able to set up a campaign there to execute is such a great one. Lisa's got active campaign for CRM. Marguerite's got go high level. Susan, will we be able to add URL links to the knowledge base, such as documents from Accelerate Resource Library? Wow, I don't know that one. If someone can grab Susan's details. So Accelerate Resource Library, it may need to go through some form of authentication, which means we would need to do a setup for it. But soon, definitely, you'll be able to add URLs to scrape data from websites. And if the URL is public, that will be an easier step there for grounding and us being able to add that. Absolutely. Yes, a connection to Make and Zapier would be amazing. We have with Moxie and a few other specialist things. Cool. Carl, the SourceWiki is a product from MultiPlai.tech, which is a wiki-style documentation tool where you can put in all the knowledge. The reason why we called it the SourceWiki is so it's the source of all knowledge in your organization. And so you can build out a whole range of core, like standard operating procedures and policies and the information about your business you can put in here, or you can use it for planning as well. And if you use OneBrain, you are using SourceWiki. So don't worry about SourceWiki. If you're using OneBrain is the white label version of SourceWiki. So you get all the same great features in there. Hillary's got, I've been making custom GPTs with all my individual clients' info. Will I be able to do that in Raya? Yes, you can. Or just connecting to the custom GPT. You'll be able to build those in Raya. I've been using Descript to pick up the client's voice. Beautiful. So that our copy uses their tone and language. Well done. That's super smart. Neil's got, is there an agent which does transcription yet? No, not yet. But that is very close. And Jay's saying working on it. Will you have an integration with SimPro? Oh, that's a great idea. Is that, not sure if I can pronounce your name correctly, but let's make sure we connect and talk about SimPro. Will it be possible in the future to have an agent that acts as a logged in user in software? More so for platforms that doesn't have an API. Yeah, so as we move into the world of where there is no API on the software, this is where we move to multimodal and action models. So multimodal, where it's going to be looking at vision on the screen, what's actually on the screen, and then being able to take action. Now, we've already been looking at Open Interpreter, which is an API that helps to take action on the screen itself. What I can say to you is that that is absolutely the future. We're focusing next on things like integration and voice, so you can interact with the AI, building out these APIs so you can get really powerful workflows. And then after that, you'll start to see how the agents will be able to take action on software. Now, naturally, you're going to say, when can we have that? And I can't give you an answer on that, but it'll certainly, I expect to see that this year will be into some pretty exciting space of being able to essentially train your agent to do activities on your machine and then set up routines so they can do that on a regular basis. So lots of real automation coming out in those worlds. Will it be possible in the future to have an agent? Oh, yep, that's that one. What about, Matthew's got, what about tenders and requests for proposals? That's such a great space for this. I think that's really important, especially if you can connect to your external systems for pricing and so forth. It will take a fair bit of extra prompt engineering because it depends on how complex your tenders or requests for proposals are. And that if they are quite complex, then it's probably about chunking it down into a range of different steps and creating agents that will do step by step. And Rosemary's gone interview to content for website. Absolutely. David's got, I'm using Zoho, book, CRM, imagery, subscription, desk, forms, just to start. Sensational. And WorkDrive. Yeah, loving so many people using ClickUp. I thought I was alone. Yeah, ClickUp. We're looking to move to ClickUp for task management ourselves. Yeah, Xero. Lisa's got Xero. That's an important one for us to see, especially things like these accounts receivable agents, where vision on this one is a workflow that will connect to Xero, pull out who owes you money, connect to your CRM, check to see whatever recent communications were, and then from that generate a email to send to generate the list of people, how much they owe, what their invoices are, generate a email that's personalized to each of them, that's considering things like what's in your CRM and what's owing, and then eventually, and I know if anyone knows Dale Beaumont, he's hitting me up daily on this one, the ability for the system to then make phone calls to the people who would owe you money. It's going to be a really powerful one coming. For those in the US, there is some restrictions around that. In February this year, the legislation changed, and so you cannot have an AI phone call outbound to someone unless they've given permission to receive an AI or robo call. Now, that's only in the US at the moment. That may end up happening in other jurisdictions around the world. We've got some important ways to work around that that's respectful to the end user. David's like, how do you think an agent would go pulling out real contacts from a list of 20,000? Let's try it, is the answer, because we haven't tested that just yet. But 20,000 rows of data in an Excel spreadsheet, let's give it a go. Can we ask, thanks Andrew, Matt, you may have covered this already. Can we ask Ray to read a particular Facebook page or posts and find articles on specific topics? When we do our scraping agent or tool, which by our next session, I'm sure I'll be able to give you a forecast on that one, then that would be possible, especially if you've got the specific link, and then find articles on specific topics. Yeah, I don't see why that's not possible. You could do a two-step process on that one. One to do the scraping research, and then the second to do a research activity afterwards as well. That's definitely coming. Oh, Ryan, good timing. When is scraping coming? Regs is answering for us. Team plans to make it a default agent skill to do web scraping. Saying stay tuned. We couldn't give you an answer on that just yet, but please stay tuned. It won't be far away. It is a high priority because it's such an important thing that we as humans go out to the internet all the time. Hey team, we're coming. Look at that. I'm loving all the questions. We're coming up to the hour mark. I'm going to race through these, but what I will say for anyone who might be off to the next meeting, thank you very much for being here. Continue on your flow engineering journey. We will release some live session times that are opened up for people to share what you're doing, and we'll jump in and work with you side by side. They'll be separate from Flow Friday sessions so that we can have those as just hands-on. Do remember, if you want to join one of those and share, that you will be sharing your data publicly with others. So please keep that mindful. That's part of the agreement to those sessions. We'll also soon get these published into Raya Pro, so you know a calendar of when these events are happening. And we'll also send out an email to everyone by Monday about those open sessions times next week. Dean Scott, when web scraping is in, will there be the ability to ground all agents based on this, so obtain imagery, tone of content, voice, color scheme, etc.? Great question. I might have to think deeper, and we'll have a chat about all those. Part of that is probably more to do with the prompting, because when you scrape, you get the data in, and it might also be looking at what we scrape on the page to make sure if we're pulling back colors and these sorts of things. Tone, as in tonality of voice, would be understandable, but in color schemes, we'll have to check on that one. That's an interesting one. Neil is saying, I use a product called Leads Griller to get potential clients from the web. Can an agent do this? Once scraping's there, more likely so, and that will be a bit dependent upon where it's getting the data from. We use Apollo.io, and it's getting its data from lots of different locations that we may not necessarily be able to scrape. So sometimes you're going to have a tool out there that's fit for purpose, and then you look at how the agent interacts with that tool. Was there an answer about grounding an AI agent to the tone or style of the business? Yes. So let me help with that. You've also got InfoBase here. So InfoBase is where you can set default style, tonality. In fact, you can add any question in here and give it an answer so that all agents will actually take this into consideration. So you can do that at a fundamental level overall for your business. This works really well if AI agents are just being worked on for your business. If you're a marketing consultant, you're working with lots of different agencies, different customers, you may not use this as much and really just rely on grounding at the agent level. The other thing you can do there, Tamika, is that in the agent itself, you could set up a file or a page within an external wiki like SourceWiki or OneBrain and connect to it to set up that additional tonality. How can you suggest using AI agents with HubSpot? Great question, Susan. I'm going to answer this one, and I think we might have to, we'll need to wrap up because even I need to get to another meeting. So with HubSpot, I'd be looking for things like, once we connected the API, doing a check, you could use it as a sales coach. So in the CRM, do we have tasks set up for all of our clients that are in there? Because in good discipline management in a CRM is to make sure you've always got a follow-up task for every client or possible client, even if it's 3 months out or 6 months out, it's in there. And that's something that from an API perspective, that would be easy to read. So first place I would go is thinking something like Sales Coach. Then the next one could be that it is running through and pulling out a list based on some question. Or another one is that you often just want to ask a question like, who do we have that hasn't bought a specific product? Or how many of our potential clients haven't repurchased from us in the last 30 days, if you've got that sort of information in there. And once connected to the API, you'll be able to quiz all sorts of information that you might currently be asking someone to go on that information, but it'd be available for you. But a plethora of more ideas to come with that. Hey, thanks everybody. We're going to close it out now. Any other questions that are in there, we'll make sure that we respond to you directly via email. So thanks everyone. I really hope you've getting those brains moving. Really excited to get together again next week for Flow Friday, and also for any of our live sessions that we do next week. So thanks everyone. Bye for now and have an awesome day. See you later.